Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome to our webinar on cat-free liquid eggs in Thailand. Let's begin with the agenda for today's webinar. We will cover the following topic within 1 hour. You will also hear insights from industry leaders and Thai producers and learn about our impact incentive program. At the end, we will have a Q&A session. I encourage you to write any questions you may have in the Q&A box below on the screen. Before we start, I would like to introduce a bit about us. We are a Singapore-based consultancy firm helping food and hospitality business achieve cat-free sourcing and support egg producers to implement and optimize cat-free production. We operate in Thailand and in other countries like China, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and India. The cat-free market is growing in Thailand and across Asia, and a big reason for that is many food and hospitality leaders like Marriott, Four Seasons, Best Western, Wyndham, and many more have committed to 100% cat-free supply chains, and they are in process of transitioning from cage system to cat-free supply chain. As you can see from here, on a global scale, there are over 2,600 companies are making this commitment. In Asia, we have more than 300 companies. And right here in Thailand, over 38 companies are already on board. And more Asia retailers are launching house brand cat-free eggs. For example, Lotus and Top Supermarket. We have been working with many major food and hospitality business across Asia, including Thailand. We provide solutions to challenge you may have while sourcing cat-free eggs and help company achieve cost saving in the process. Some of our clients and partners include Marriott, Best Western, Hyatt, Unilever, Compass Group, and so on. We also have a science and extension team that work with egg producers and suppliers to support that transition to cat-free production. And we work with many existing cat-free producers in Thailand, China, and Indonesia to help them optimize their cat-free operations. We also have our model farm in China and Indonesia. As you know that many company with 2025 deadline, they have less than 14 months to meet 100% cage-free eggs in Thailand. Many companies have shifted from sourcing cage eggs to adopting cage-free sourcing to meet their 100% cage-free commitments. So let's see for the scope of cage-free egg used in the food and hospitality business include shell or whole eggs, liquid eggs, powder eggs, and products that contains eggs such as pastry, cakes, and mayonnaise. Now we have a poll to see what challenge are you facing. I will give you 30 seconds to respond to the poll and my colleague Dawn will share the result.
Thank you for your responses. I think I still see some people clicking. I'm just going to wait a few more seconds for it to stabilize before I end the poll. Okay, and I will share the results on screen so that you can see it. Most of you say that limited supplies in the location, the lack of cage-free liquid, and cost is an issue. So thank you for sharing that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, previously we have spoke with many food and hospitality business in Thailand, and they found that the top challenge now is availability of kid-free liquid eggs. I believe that many business can find kid-free shell eggs, especially in central Thailand. However, there is a lack of kid-free liquid. The good news is that we have been working with two farms who are planning to start kid-free liquid production soon. However, one farm indicates that initial supply volume will be limited. At the same time, another farm requires a minimum order quantity of approximately 1 ton. Next issue is high cost, particularly in remote locations. There are this area have limited suppliers, and sourcing kid-free eggs from different regions require additional logistic costs, and additionally purchasing from retailer can be expensive. We understand these difficulties, and later we will present solutions that can help address them effectively. Now we are excited to have one of our clients with us, Rodney Simpson, Managing Director of Operations in APAC from Best Western Hotel and Resort Asia. He is going to share his experience in implementing cat-free policy in Thailand. Over to you, Rodney.
Thank you, Kun JJ, and good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you, Global Food Partners, for the invitation. We here at BWH Hotels, our board and corporate office out of Phoenix handed down an initiative for us to be cage-free, 100% cage-free across the entire hotel network of 4,300 hotels globally by the end of 2025. Obviously running operations, and we do manage a lot of assets across the portfolio here. Traditionally, we are a franchise model company, but here in Asia, we also manage hotels, and a bit over a third of our operating portfolio is managed assets. I myself, one of my key benchmarks is to run those hotels. So taking on the cage-free aspect of our day-to-day operations was something that I took on myself to achieve. So ultimately, as we started to look at it, obviously the biggest catalyst was cost and the ability to source. So having about 20 general managers that I work with, I handed out some, I guess, tasks and asked them to start to hunt around, because working with a couple of the big retailers, the pricing was extreme compared to what we can buy eggs for today. And we all know conventional eggs in this market is anywhere from sort of 320 to 360 for a buttery hen egg. And then, you know, when you're starting to talk, the big retails can be anywhere up to 8 baht 10, 8 baht 20, which is, you know, extreme for any P&L. So once I tasked it out to our GMs to start looking around, we started to find smaller suppliers in locations not too far outside of Bangkok, not too far outside of Hua Hin, not too far outside of Phuket. Obviously, it's still limited down in the south, but here in town, we've managed to find a couple of producers that are supplying several of my hotels here in Bangkok for around the 4 baht mark. Now, if you're paying 360 for a conventional egg and 4 baht, it's not, you know, it's not being too disruptive to the P&L when the price is only up a couple of baht. So, you know, as we've moved forward, we've gainfully in the last 12 months, a bit over, just under half of the portfolio now is utilizing cage-free eggs, which we've become proud of. We've still obviously got work to do. But as I saw from your recent quick questionnaire that was put up by JJ and Dawn, that, you know, yes, locality can still be challenged. And then pricing in some of those localities can obviously still be a challenge. And yeah, looking for the liquid egg, and I think JJ gave the best assumption that they do want bulk, and you know, for a 80-room property or 200-room property with no meeting space or banqueting and F&B, it's a challenge to be able to buy the supply that's required to get the product. So there's still some challenges that we're working through with GFP to ascertain where we can pick up those products. But all in all, we've worked very hard across the region to implement. We're still working. We're now working closely with our Japan operation. We do have 18 hotels in Japan, and we're working very closely with those guys now to find the right producers and products where they can, you know, start to fulfill the responsibility that we've handed out to those guys in their hotels. So, but here in Thailand, I don't find the challenge as difficult as it was at the start, because we have managed to source a lot of little producers in the outskirts of town that can supply us on a daily basis. So all in all, availability has become better because we've gone deeper to source. And you know, my advice is, if you're just looking at your big players and retailers like your Better Grows and CPs, yes, they've always got availability, but you know, you do pay a premium for their product as well. So yeah, I'm always open to anybody that wishes to reach out and you know, have a discussion or understand how we've put some of the mechanics in place to achieve the results that we are. And obviously, we've still got a lot of work to do that we're pushing on very hard. So I hope that gives a little bit of an insight into how we are working and what we're doing to achieve. And thank you once again.
Thank you, Rodney. I believe your insights have inspired and motivate many people here today. So next, here, producer insights from two leading Thai producers. We have here Kun Thanawut, Vice President of Sangthong Sahar Farm, and Kun Sathit, Manager from Sangwon Farm. Over to you, Kun Thanawut.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me to join this sessions. Okay, I just want to explain on my business. We are the layer farm. We are producing eggs and selling eggs in Thailand. Currently, we do have a cage-free farm, and we are selling the cage-free eggs into the supermarket and also into some of the hotel in Thailand. Currently, capacity that we are producing is about 50,000 eggs per day for the cage-free, and we have planned to expanding it, and depends on the market. I think the thing that we can help us to expand in is depends on the understanding of the market and the people who require the cage-free eggs in Thailand. As you see the poll at the beginning, I saw that it's a 67% is under the cost, is about the cage-free egg is still a little bit more expensive. It depends on people think about why it's expensive, you know. The thing is, because the cage-free egg that we are doing, we going to bird about 50,000 birds. We can sell the cage-free eggs only about 60%, right? But another 40% that we still need to sell as a normal egg because of the sizing, because of the undergrade thing. So all the costs that we are growing as a cage-free is higher than a normal caged eggs. So that is including into the total cost. That's why the cage-free eggs still a little bit more expensive. But if the expansions or the understanding of the market that they want to buy more cage-free, so the cost will be reduced. So it depends on the volume. Also because sometimes that we are selling the cage-free egg into the market, we need the logistic. Like Rodney said, somewhere that is not a local producer. Like if we want to sell it to a different locations, like in the southern or in the northeastern, minimum volume requirement that we can minimize the logistic cost is one bunch, right? But depends on sometimes that the customer want only a small volume, so the cost of logistic is a bit high. So that is one of the additional costs into the cage-free. So whenever the market is accepted and a cage-free egg is more popular, so all that fixed cost will be reduced and the cost will be more effective. Also, I think the thing that market can help the producer like us is I think the impact incentive from the Global Food Partner is also is a very good program because we can expand it and we can sell it without delivery it as a lot additional cost on the logistic. So if this one can help, so we can expand it. And our farm, we have planned to open more houses for K3, like additional 2-3 houses for about 220 or to 30,000 on in this next year, actually first or second quarter. So this is actually about me now. So if I think the question and answer session will be after this. Okay, thank you very much.
ที่นี่คือเครือบริษัทแสงทองอัครา จุดเริ่มต้นของทุกคุณภาพที่ประกอบไปด้วย2กลุ่มธุรกิจหลักด้วยกัน 1. กลุ่มธุรกิจการเกษตรดำเนินธุรกิจเกี่ยวกับกลุ่มผลิตภัณฑ์เพื่อการเกษตรและเพาะเลี้ยงภายใต้เครือบริษัทแสงทองอัครา ครอบคลุมไปสู่กลุ่มธุรกิจที่ 2 ที่ดำเนินธุรกิจเกี่ยวกับกลุ่มผลิตภัณฑ์อาหารภายใต้เครือบริษัทแสงทองอัคราที่พัฒนาต่อยอดเป็นไข่ไก่สดผลิตภัณฑ์อาหารแปรรูปและผลิตภัณฑ์อาหารพร้อมรับประทานธุรกิจฟาร์มไก่ไข่ Layer Farm and Egg Production เครือบริษัทแสงทองอัคราที่มีคุณภาพมาตรฐานในการดูแลฟาร์มเลี้ยงดูแม่ไก่อย่างครบวงจรผ่านการรับรองโดยกรมปศุสัตว์เพื่อให้ได้ไข่ไก่สดที่มีคุณภาพมีรูปแบบการเลี้ยงแม่ไก่ที่หลากหลายและถูกต้องตามหลักการสากล Cage Free เป็นวิธีการเลี้ยงแบบปล่อยอิสระในโรงเรือนระบบปิดที่ได้รับรองมาตรฐานจากกรมปศุสัตว์เป็นการเลี้ยงในโรงเรือนระบบปิดมีพื้นที่มากขึ้นปลอดภัยจากสารเร่งฮอร์โมนและยาปฏิชีวนะได้รับสารอาหารและคุณค่าทางโภชนาการที่ครบถ้วนเพื่อให้แม่ไก่มีสุขภาพดีธุรกิจอาหารเพื่อการบริโภค Consumer Food Business เครือบริษัทแสงทองอัคราครอบคลุมทั้งการผลิตและจัดจำหน่ายอย่างครบวงจรซึ่งจะถูกแบ่งออกเป็น3ฐานการผลิตที่ได้มาตรฐานและนี่คือเบื้องหลังความสำเร็จที่ยิ่งใหญ่ที่ครอบคลุมตั้งแต่ธุรกิจการเกษตรไปจนถึงธุรกิจอาหารในเครือบริษัทแสงทองอัคราทั้งหมดนี้เพื่อส่งต่อคุณค่าจากคุณภาพที่ครบครัน
Thank you, Kun Chanawut. So next, let's hear from another producer. Over to you, Kun Sathit ค่ะ
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. It's my pleasure to be here today to share our journeys as a cage-free producers, our expansion plan, new products, and how impact incentive can help us. Let me share my presentation. First of all, I would like to give a short introduction about our farms. It was established in late 1950 by my grandfather, Mr. Sangwan, who was one of the first pioneers in this business. It is located in Saraburi province. We are currently focused on the quality of the product and service, as well as being a sustainable business. We are an end-to-end egg producer, which means we have everything from upstream to downstream. We have breeder farm, we have our own breed, tribal breed. We have hatchery, feed mill, egg layer farm. We can produce about 150,000 eggs per day. We have egg grading and processing plant and our own delivery fees. 95% of our customers are in Bangkok. We started cage-free production 3 years ago by converting the existing house into cage-free system. Each house has about 7,000 hens, so we can produce around 10 to 15,000 eggs per day. These tea house are certified by the Department of Livestock as cage-free farms. So maybe some of you haven't had a chance to get inside, so let me show you a short video to see what it looks inside. expand our cage-free egg production. Starting April next year, we will convert another 4 houses into the cage-free system. It will be the first multi-tier aviary system in Thailand. By utilizing the vertical space, we can produce more cage-free egg in the same amount of the land area. With this system, we can have 12,500 hen per house. And when the project complete, the total capacity will be around 50,000 cage-free egg per day. But our ultimate goal is to be 100% cage-free egg producers. Next, and probably the most interesting subject, the cage-free liquid eggs. Our subsidiary company, The Good Egg Co., has produced few sample batches for internal R&D and the customer testing. We need feedback from the user to optimize our production process and product quality. We plan to commercialize the cage-free liquid whole egg in January next year. The liquid yolk and liquid white will be later introduced next year. But with the amount of the cage-free egg we have, we may be able to produce only around like 200 to 300 gallons per week at the beginning. So if you are interested, you can register for a free sample by answering a short questionnaire in the link on the screen. So you can test the products as well as the logistics. Although we can supply more physical eggs and liquid eggs next year, impact incentive is still an interesting program for us and could benefit us as egg producers. Because of the limitation of our logistics field, either the distance or the MOQ, we cannot supply our products to a lot of customers who want to use the cage-free eggs. This is where the program step in and help us to assure that our expansion plan is financially feasible. With the credit system, we are now able to offer our products in terms of the credits to the customer virtually anywhere. Also, without the physical delivery, we can offer the farm gate price, which is more competitive and help the customer to save the cost. It can also eliminate the customer switching costs. Some customer may reluctant to change the supplier because of the relationship or concern about the different egg yolk color, different egg size, because all these factors can affect the formulation of their products. But with the credit system, they can continue using the egg from their current supplier, but can fulfill the cage-free commitment at the same time. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing those valuable insights. I'm sure many of you are curious about how business can support these producers and fulfill your commitment by using impact incentive or cage-free credits. My colleague Dawn will now share more detail about how the impact incentive program works. So over to you, Dawn.
Thank you, JJ. Can everybody hear me and see my screen?
Yes, Dawn.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Kun Sati, Kun Thanamut, and Rodney for your sharing. I think it's so useful to always hear from the buyers and the producers themselves. So today I want to share with you about the impact incentive program and some other solutions that we can think about, can consider for the problems that we have listed just now. And impact incentive is actually the world's first credit trading program for eggs. And it's developed mainly to help companies meet their commitment for cage-free eggs quickly and easily, especially in the more challenging locations here in Asia. And you may have heard of book and claim systems that are similar to this, such as RSPO for palm oil or textile exchange credits for different types of fibers. But we have studied all those existing schemes before we came up with an improved version. And I'll go into the improvements and the safeguards a little bit later on. But first, I would just want to touch on what it is about. Many companies right now are able to source, to a certain extent, cage-free shell eggs in Thailand. Like what Rodney has shared, you managed to find small suppliers or large suppliers in different parts of Thailand and achieve to a large extent getting closer and closer to 100%. But you still have some gaps, and those gaps can be liquid eggs, it can be powdered eggs, it can be some remote locations like Koh Samui where you don't have any farms, and it costs too much to deliver the eggs all the way to the south or to some locations. And because of this, many of the companies, many of the buyers that are here on this call, on this webinar, will not be able to meet their commitment and achieve 100% implementation by December 2025. And that's something that is worrying. So with the impact incentive scheme, what we're trying to do is to look at the egg as different sets of cost. And many of you are familiar with like omega-3 enriched eggs or different types of value-added eggs when you go to the supermarket. And what we're really talking about are really the basic cost of producing a normal egg versus a value addition. That value addition can be omega-3, it can be cage-free, can be free range, can be some kind of organic or production or some kind of additives added to the egg. And because of this, the price is a little bit higher, just like cage-free costs a little bit more to produce because the hens actually consume more feed when they're able to move around and they expend more energy. That's why at the farm gate level, at the farm level, the producers actually have to feed them more and the price is a little bit higher. So cage-free eggs will probably never be the same price as cage eggs, but it also doesn't have to be exorbitantly very, very much more, just like what Khun Thanawood shared earlier. Depends on the volume, depends on a lot of other inputs. So if farmers have difficulty selling their cage-free eggs that they produce to buyers that are located near them, what they can do is sell these eggs as regular eggs in the open market to recoup a part of the production cost. And because the buyers are not located near them, they can sell them the claim that is cage-free to recover the other part of the cost. So from the perspective of the producers, they get the same price. Of course, in the ideal scenario, these farmers can deliver to the buyers the physical cage-free eggs. If there's no logistic difficulty, no transportation difficulty, it is possible. But because of logistic difficulty and minimum order quantity needed for liquid eggs to materialize, it's difficult for them to achieve a very, very good price because the situation in Thailand right now is in the emerging phases of the cage-free transition. And these problems we see are because the market is not mature yet. And in order for the market to mature, we actually need a lot more production to happen, a lot more cage-free eggs being produced. And therefore, this system incentivizes the producers to produce more cage-free eggs, while the buyers can meet their commitments easily and maintain their current supply chain by buying from their existing suppliers, whether it's shell eggs or liquid eggs or powder eggs. They do not change the existing procurement system for areas that they have difficulty in, difficulty getting physical cage-free eggs. They can consider supporting these producers to produce more cage-free eggs, such as these two farmers, these two producers that are with us today. They're in the central part of Thailand, and they may find it difficult to deliver a small quantity of eggs to individual hotels or little clusters of hotels located in the south. But you can incentivize them to produce those eggs by paying the cost difference between cage and cage-free, and that's the price of the incentive. And through this method, you can easily meet a commitment and save a lot of money in the process. This also creates a bigger supply of cage-free eggs in Thailand, so that in a few years' time, it becomes much easier for you to buy, whether it's liquid eggs or shell eggs. The supply is more abundant, the prices are lower because everybody has economies of scale. So basically, there are three options in areas where you can secure a supplier and the price is okay and they can deliver to you. Many companies will choose to go 100% physical supply chain. In areas where they have some difficulty, some of them are saying we want to do a mix of physical where possible, and where we have gaps, we want to use cage-free credits to fill those gaps so that we can meet our 100% commitment by the end of 2025. The third option is a little bit more rare, but we have clients who say we only buy, for example, egg powder, and there's no cage-free egg powder available in the region. The minimum order quantity for that is much, much higher. So it's difficult to even start. So for those companies, their only way to fulfill by end of next year is through credits to incentivize that production, to kickstart that cycle. So in Thailand, we kind of thought that it would make sense to divide it according to central Thailand, where a lot more producers are located, and also the more remote areas like the north and the south and the islands. In central Thailand, physical is available, as Kun Satit and Kun Thanawut shared earlier. They are starting to produce liquid eggs. So if you meet their minimum order quantity, and they're able to fit in the order and you can receive the physical eggs, that's one option. In areas where it's difficult to get those eggs to be delivered there, credits is an option for those difficult areas. If the volume is so small that it doesn't meet the producer MOQ, and the producers have a lot of orders coming in from different companies and they're all booked out for the next few months, you can't even get physical cage-free eggs, then credits will be another option in order to meet the commitment by end of next year. For remote locations, if you have a logistic partner that you rely on that can reliably deliver those liquid eggs to the south within the shelf life period, that's great. But if you do not have that, then credits is another option for you to support these producers to produce these cage-free eggs. So how is the price being calculated? Like I mentioned just now, it is the farm gate price, the cost difference between producing a cage egg versus the cage-free egg. And at the farm gate, this cost is quite reasonable because it doesn't include logistics, warehousing, and so on. So that's the price of the credits. The producer is the one that sets the price. There's no middleman involved in that. And one credit equals to 1,000 eggs. If you're interested, we can send you quotes later on. And with this system, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of safeguards in developing this system to give a lot more transparency than traditional book and claim models. Because the producer is the one that sets the price, the producer receives 100% of what they're asking for. There's no middleman coming in to buy and sell these credits and to hedge on these credits. It creates a pathway to physical sourcing in a few years' time. When they have a larger quantity, it becomes easier to deliver and cheaper to deliver as well. And at the same time, buyers know exactly which producer they are supporting. Unlike many credit trading schemes where the end user, the end producer supplier may not even get 60% of what the credit price is because of a lot of other factors involved. This system is very, very transparent in that sense. And we already have some clients saying that they will use this egg credit system as an alternative in areas where they have availability challenges. And that includes Unilever, Compass Group, and Krispy Kreme. And I think more recently, we have QP also announcing that they will consider this as well for their mayonnaise production. These companies are prioritizing physical supply where available, but in very difficult markets or locations, this will be the alternative to meet 100%. We already have the support of the major animal welfare advocacy groups because they realize that in certain markets, it is more challenging for both producers and buyers to fulfill these commitments. And ultimately, it is the same number of hens out of cages because you're directly supporting these producers to expand, build more barns, have more layers, have more cage-free eggs. The same number of birds out of cages. And therefore, they sign on a letter to support this particular scheme. So if you visit our website, globalfoodpartners.com/incentives, you'll be able to see the producers that have already joined the scheme. And in Thailand, we have the first two, Singthong Saha Farm and Sangwon Farm, who are here with us today as part of the ecosystem. And you may have come across news like this recently, where there's publicity on how they're the first two in Thailand to join this first credit trading scheme for eggs and to help food and hospitality businesses achieve their commitments. So in summary, you can easily offset the use of your regular cage eggs with cage-free credits and fulfill your commitment on time. It not only will save you cost, you're able to report to advocacy organizations that you are implementing a policy, it is valid, you're supporting local producers, and you're maintaining your supply chain in areas where it's difficult. Happy to answer any questions later, but if are curious about how it works, first, you have to calculate the number of eggs you want to offset. For example, if you have secured 90% of your whole volume for Thailand for physical supply, and you have 10% that you have difficulty with, you can let us know what that 10% is, and we can work with the producers to give you a quote. And then when both parties, buyers and sellers, have discussed and agreed on many details, we can then enter into a contract. The producers then produce the cage-free eggs, and then the buyer pays and settles the incentive directly to the producers. And I know that we have about 14 months more before the end of 2025, but these producers also need time to build another barn, time to expand. The chickens need time to grow from baby chicks to young pullets to start laying eggs. So if you benefits of buying now is that you can be sure that you can meet a commitment on time, because if you book next year and these producers are like at the max capacity, you may not be able to meet your commitment on time and report progress. So again, happy to answer any questions, and if you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A box below. And I'd like to welcome all the speakers back and have your cameras on. Thank you. So feel free to type your questions in Q&A. Even if you feel comfortable typing in Thai, we can translate that for you as well. So we already have one question here about what is the shelf life of liquid eggs and can they be frozen? I'd like to direct this to the two producers. If you want to share, if it's chilled or frozen, what's the shelf life?
The shelf life could be 14 to 30 days, depending on the temperature you keep it.
And it would be that's for chilled eggs, right?
Right, yes.
Can they be frozen? Are you able to supply frozen liquid eggs, and how will it impact?
I think for only the albumin can be frozen, I guess. The whole egg and the yolk cannot be frozen.
Okay. Thanawood, do you have anything to add to that?
Not much, actually. I think the way that we are doing cage-free liquid eggs is very similar to the normal eggs in liquid eggs. So as the same as the normal liquid egg frozen shelf life, the cage-free egg in liquid on frozen will be the same.
Thank you. And another question here is, what is the fastest and best way to get liquid eggs as soon as possible? This person is in a hurry, so I think we can send over the contacts of the producers over to you later on. After this, I'll be sure to send it to you. And she wants the link, and you can contact them directly to ask for quotes, and they'll let you know how far in advance you have to order. Because I think right now I hear of many companies trying to place orders already for next year. There's another question here about, can you share with us what countries are cage-free credits available in? Jasima, do you want to share that?
Sure. Thanks, Don. So currently we offer cage-free credits in all emerging cage-free markets in Asia. So that's Thailand, Philippines, Japan, China, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and many others. However, we also understand that a lot of corporates are looking for solutions globally. So that could be some regions where they have to bridge the gap in Latin America or other places. So as global food partners, we are primarily focused in Asia. Having said that, if a client were to work with us for Asia, but wants some sort of bridging to be done in other parts, we'll be open for that conversation as well. So as Dawn said in her presentation, the key is to identify what the gap is. So what is your total egg footprint? How much are you able to buy through a physical supply chain? What the gap is? And based on that particular gap, we can map out producers. And in fact, what's really exciting about the Thai producers who are on this call today is that because Thailand is such an agri-export market, they're able to support credits for a lot of countries in this region because the general principle of the credit is you support a farmer with a credit. Once the volume reaches, you're able to transition to physical. And but Thailand is such a great agri hub that you are able to do that. And it's really exciting to have two large farmers here. So yeah, if you have any problems in Asia or other emerging regions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to figure out the way to get you impact incentives.
Thank you, Jasmine. So any other questions or from the panel? Rodney, any questions from you?
No, I don't have any questions, but I found it interesting listening to the two producers and where they're at and their ability to evolve as well. I think it's great to see, and we've been working so hard to get the evolution for our company that seeing the support that's coming from the farmers, and it's great. It's really good to see the emerging more and more. So well done to you guys as well, your companies.
Definitely. These two producers, we've known them for some years. They're some of the first to start producing cage-free eggs in Thailand and in Asia, actually, for many, many years. And people didn't know that. And now they're ready to expand. Like technically they're good. So very happy to have them on the call as well.
And I just one comment I'd like to make. I think the whole cost factor is a myth. If you actually start hunting and you work with the right people and gain the right support from the right companies, the cost isn't as bad. And we're running mid-scale hotels where the balance sheet is important with $50 ADR. So we're not luxury hotels where we're running the $200 ADR. So the balance sheet is important, and what we put into the cost mechanism. So, and obviously our biggest RB, room and breakfast. So our main cost is through the breakfast, right? So having the price structure that we do from the suppliers we're working with, it really is not damaging the P&L at all.
Yeah, it doesn't cost that much more to produce cage-free. It does cost more, but I think earlier Kuntan would share why some factors are built into the pricing, because you can't sell the small eggs. Like nobody wants small eggs, right? And there are other factors, logistics built in, that can be addressed through the incentive system. I have a question here anonymously. You mentioned cost savings. Do you have any examples of potential cost savings? So without knowing your baseline, it's difficult to give you an estimate, and we're happy to give you an estimate, privately after the call, on a call. But generally, we have seen anything from 10% to 50%, depending on the volume, the locations, the type of eggs. Yeah. So that's it, ballpark figure for you. I hope that answers your question.
Also, Don, if I may add, in terms of cost saving, it isn't just about how much dollar value is being saved in terms of invoicing, but also in terms of just human resource required and the logistics for change. And I think when you add in that cost, which is like finding a new vendor, onboarding that new particular vendor, ensuring that they are on your system, ensuring that your payment mechanism actually works, and then they have the certification for you to do the audit. So I feel like changing a vendor and moving towards cage-free, obviously the increased cost is in the purchase order, but there is a huge underbelly of hidden costs that a company has to undergo when they have to do this transition. So impact incentive does take away that. But the good thing is it's not for perpetuity. It's only as a bridging solution. The farmer with whom you're buying impact incentive will end up being a vendor. You will build trust with that particular farmer. You will start seeing that they are able to supply those cage-free credits. You'll see their farms running. And once they have the volume, you are able to transition out. So in that sense, the cost savings is on the purchase order as well as in the hidden human resources that's required for the actual transition to happen.
That's true. Thank you, Jaya. Do we have any other questions from the attendees? Especially for liquid eggs, which are not yet available. Can we report incentives as progress to NGOs? Yes, you can. A lot of the major NGOs have already accepted incentives as one of the solutions for very challenging situations. And I think there are also articles put out online by NGOs on the support, right, Jasima?
That's right. The Humane League, which is the group behind the Open Wing Alliance, which reaches out to a lot of the brands asking for progress, recently put out a blog in support of impact incentives as a method to fulfill cage-free commitment and report. And it's also interesting to see that a lot of local groups from Animal Friends Georgia to AKF and many other groups who are also on board. So there is a support mechanism from both international as well as local groups for companies buying impact incentives. And again, I at the risk of overemphasizing, these impact incentives are a bridging mechanism. We know that reaching to a physical supply chain where you're able to source these cage-free eggs and make the perfect claim that you are sourcing is where you want to reach. But in the journey of sustainable commodity, credits play a very, very important role in supporting progressive farmers like the two we have on the webinar today. So it's a great tool to support progressive farmers in the country and the regions you operate in.
Yeah. Ideally, you are able to source directly from the farms and, they're located near you and you can get a good price. And they have liquid eggs. But in cases where you don't, then incentives is one of the solutions.
May I add something about the thing that you just said is about the cost saving also, because if you do the impact incentive, you can buy the credit from the producer that produce the cage fee by buying the impact incentive, right? And then you can sourcing the local supplier for the normal eggs. So that is one of the way you can saving the logistic cost. Sometimes if this may be compared to if you want to buy the cage-free egg from somewhere else in Thailand, let's say you are in Phuket, but you have to buy the cage-free egg from Bangkok. So that is a logistic cost from Bangkok to Phuket is a lot already. But that will be subsidized by if you can find a local producer on a normal cage egg and you buy the impact incentive, you buy the credit from the cage-free egg from Bangkok. So that is already saving. So it depends on the way you purchase and the way you running on the business wise.
That's right. And it gives producers that volume that they need to start a new barn, because before you start a new barn, you need like 20,000, 30,000 hens in that barn, right? You need to have a certain number of orders before you can even start another barn. And it's difficult to get that without a consolidated order. So with incentives, producers get 18 months to produce these eggs, and they can accumulate some orders and then start a new barn. That's helped to solve some of these challenges that they face, because right now the volume is not that big yet, from the buyers. But we do hear buyers in calls always asking about liquid eggs. Is it available? Is it available? And Thailand is one of the countries where it's going to be available soon. So that's good. Any other questions before we close? We have 3 minutes left. You can always feel free to send us questions if something comes up to you later on. And we're happy to get on a call with you. We're happy to connect you with producers for you to have those conversations. somebody asked, how do we get in touch if we want to start? Please feel free to email us or contact us. I think JJ will share our contact very soon, and we can set up a call with you. JJ, do you want to share your screen?
Okay, thank you everyone for your question. And today we do not have enough time to answer all of your questions. So, but we'll be sure to follow up with you by email. However, if you would like a one-on-one call after the webinar to learn more about kid-free credit and sourcing solutions, please let us know by responding to the poll. We will arrange a call with you in the following week, and the Thai language support is available if needed. Okay, I believe that all of you have responded to the poll, and thank you very much. Last but not least, no matter what approach you choose for sourcing kid-free eggs, we wish you success in meeting your 100% commitment by your deadline. And if you need support with kid-free sourcing solutions, please feel free to reach out to us at pavita@globalfoodpartners.com. We are happy to help you. And if you can follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn by scanning this QR code. Before we will end this session, I want to give a big thanks to all the speakers and to everyone joining us today. So wishing you have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you for taking time to join us today. And we'll love to stay in touch after this. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.